In this first lesson of the Realflow Basics Kit, we'll talk about some things that you'll need to get set up whenever you first launch the software. Then we'll take just a few minutes to basically just talk about how to get around within Realflow. Now, if you don't currently have a version of Realflow on your system, you can find a demo copy on the CD of this training kit, or if you go to nextlimit.com, you can download a fully functional trial version of Realflow 3. Now, whenever you first launch Realflow, you'll be greeted with this project management window. This is actually something that is really important to set up whenever you first launch Realflow, and I'll explain why here in just a second. The first thing that you want to do in your project management window is define a location where you actually want your projects to be stored. Now, if I go ahead and click on this new folder, I'm going to go ahead and go to my S drive. And I've already got a Realflow project folder set up. If you don't currently have a folder set up, just go ahead and click on this Make New Folder, and then you can name it pretty much anything you want. Now, within this Realflow project, I already have a project that I've done earlier. And if you take a look in my recent projects, you can see a project that I was working on earlier. So now that I've defined the location of my project, now I can go ahead and type in a name. So let's go ahead and give it a name. Let's say Realflow Basics Intro. And once I've got this all set, I'll just go ahead and make a new project. Now, the reason that first step becomes really important is if I go ahead and take a look in my Windows Explorer, if I open up this Realflow Basics folder that I just made, if I open this up and look within, Realflow will automatically go ahead and add all these new folders for me. So I have folders for images, meshes, particles, and a few other things. These actually are what Realflow will use when it comes time for rendering out image sequences, when it comes time for caching particles and exporting meshes. These are the folders that Realflow is going to use. So that's why this first step of setting up your project becomes really important. If you really want to be able to, Realflow to be able to function properly and really get the most out of it, you really want to make sure you go through that first step. So whenever you first launch Realflow, you'll have this typical 4-pane view. You have your perspective view, and then your 3 orthographic views. To be able to actually move around within this perspective view, you'll use your Alt key on your keyboard, and then you'll want to make sure that you have a 3-button mouse. So Alt and then left click will let you orbit around. Alt middle click will let you pan from side to side. And then Alt right click will let you zoom in and out. Okay, so again, Alt left click to orbit, Alt middle click to pan, and then Alt right click to zoom in and out. Now, if you want to be able to expand any one of these views, it's actually pretty easy to do. There's a couple of different ways that we could do this. One of them is the keyboard shortcut Alt-W. So if I click Alt-W, it'll go ahead and expand whatever view I happen to have active. And you can tell which view is active because it's going to have this sort of a lime green color to it. So you can see this one has got sort of this lime green, this perspective, whereas all the rest of them just sort of have this white view. So to make any of these views active, just go ahead and click anywhere within this view, or better yet, probably middle click, and that will go ahead and keep you from deselecting whatever you currently have selected. So middle click to make a view active, and then Alt-W to go ahead and expand it into a full view. So I'll go ahead and expand this. Another way is that once you have a certain scene or a certain perspective active, you can go ahead and use some keyboard shortcuts to jump directly between your different views. So the number 1 on my keyboard will switch me to a top view. Number 2 will switch me to a front view. Number 3 for a side view, and number 4 for a perspective view. So really, you can jump back and forth between your views without really ever having to expand into a 4-panel view, which is really nice. So in the next lesson, we'll start to talk about some of these tools that we currently have available to us within Realflow and how we can really use these.